Namaste children. Welcome to the English class. Today we are going to read about the fifth chapter from Springs, that is A Sunny Morning. It's nothing else but a comedy drama. You are going to really enjoy that particular drama, reading it as well as even listening to my explanation. So the writer of this drama, there are two writers, they are brothers actually, Serafin and Joaquin Alvarez Quinter. If you take your book, if you see on the page number 48, they have given the information that Serafin actually was born on 26th March 1871 and he died on 12th April 1938. Whereas Joaquin was born on 20th January 1873 and he died on 14th June 1944. Of course, dates are not given in textbook, but always I insist to know something more about the writers. So these two writers, these two brothers are Spanish brothers who were most popular during their times in early 20s. They were popular for their more than 200 dramas. Both collaborated more than 200 dramas which depicted the life, manner and speech of Andalusia. Now they have mentioned a place called Andalusia in southern Spain. Andalusia is the most populated and second among the 17 autonomous communities of Spain. And the capital of Andalusia is Seville. So these people, these two brothers, they wrote comedies, they wrote plays which were very famous, that those plays were translated into various languages throughout the world. And in your textbook where they have mentioned about the author, they have mentioned their most famous plays. The most famous plays were The Flowers, The Merry Heart, 100 Years Ago, The Galley Slave and Apple of His Eye. These two brothers are also famous for, they have mentioned over here, to contribute to the revival of Spanish theatre. Now, if you remember, now we have television, now we have theatres where we go and watch movies. In olden days, the only way of entertainment was theatres, and that too, they used to perform live dramas. So this particular drama is a very interesting one. It depicts about two characters. I'll just have a slide about these two brothers. Same thing what just I've told you, that only I've mentioned over here. These are the two brothers, Quintero brothers. And the next we have the characters. The characters in these plays are Donna, Laura, Petra, Don Gonzalo and Jonathan. If you see, I've underlined the two main characters, Donna, Laura and Don Gonzalo. These are the two main characters. Petra is the maid of Donna Laura and Jonathan is the servant of Don Gonzalo. Now, this particularly, if you see, they have addressed Donna and Don. Like in India, we address a man as Mr., Master, Kumar and all these things. So in Spain, they address a man as Don. So Don Gonzalo. So suppose if you have a person called Kishan over here, so Don Kishan, in that way, instead of saying Mr., they use Don. And in the same way, for a lady, they use Donna. Donna Laura. Actually, the name is Laura, but Donna Laura means what? Yeah, Miss or Mrs. It is addressing a particular person. So Donna, Laura and Don Gonzalo, these are the two main characters in this play. This play is actually nothing else but which depicts about the two lovers, two passionate lovers which were lovers in their youth, but as the time passed, they were separated by cruel fate. And again in their 70s, again they are meeting. So in 70s when they are meeting, how is their reaction? What is their reaction? This play is showing that. It has brought into many comic things, comic situations. It also teaches us that life doesn't stop. If we don't get the desired thing in our life doesn't stop, life goes on. So let's see about this particular play. I have just copied some pics, or you can say images from the net, and here this I felt it was the apt one. You can see Donna, Laura and Don Gonzalo. So there is a mention of parasol. Of course, I am telling you now only because of course later on I won't come back to this particular image. So this is called parasol. Parasol. Parasol is nothing else but a umbrella like thing which is used as a cane also while walking, like it gives a support while walking, at the same time it is an umbrella. It is used as, it is an umbrella used by Donna Laura. So there is a mention about parasol. I'm just telling you now only. So these are the two characters, main characters in this particular play. Let's know about Donna Laura. Donna Laura, the same description is there in textbook also. A handsome, white-haired old lady of about 70. Now you may say, she is a lady, why have the authors used the word or used the adjective as handsome? Now, handsome is nothing else but impressive. Handsome is nothing else but you can say, what I mentioned is striking. You did not use handsome word to to a man. Handsome is used, of course she is in 70s. So handsome is used to her because she is impressive. Her features are striking features. Okay. White haired old lady of about 70. She is almost in her 70s. Refined in appearance. Of course, she has got sharp features, her bright eyes and entire manner giving evidence that despite her age, her mental faculties are unimpaired. Though she is old, though she is having white hair, her eyes are still bright today, and looking at her mannerism, looking at her way, or you can say demeanor, she looks as if her mental faculties is what? Mental abilities are not weak. They are still sharp like a young woman, or you can say young lady. And about Don Gonzalo. Don Gonzalo is an old gentleman of 70. Of course, he also is nearby 70 years old. Gouty, impatient, and drags his feet somewhat as he walks. So, gouty means what? The person suffering from gout. Now, what is gout? Gout is nothing else but inflammation of the joints. Many times, as a person grows old, some of the other problems starts. Especially when your big toe, near the big toe, there is some certain swelling is there. So maybe we are not clear whether this person has got near the toe or near the joint. Oh, that's some swelling of some sort, and the person cannot lift or cannot bend his knee. So what he does, he drags. He drags. He lifts one leg, but the other leg which he cannot lift, he drags that leg. So you got the idea. He is also of 70 years old, nearby 70, and even Donna Laura is 70 years old. Play occurs in the setting of a park where Laura feeds the birds. The whole play gives the audience a happy mood. The character of Petra, who is Laura's maid, and Giorgetto, who is Gonzalo's servant, are just timid characters in the play. As I told you, they are just timid characters. They just come in the beginning and then they come at last. The whole story is between Laura and Gonzalo. Arguments between Laura and Gonzalo are typical humor. From their arguments, we can draw a contrast between their characters. These two characters are contrasting characters. Just let's see about the contrasting characters and then let's start with the play. Just one thing I forgot to tell you, it is a one-act play. There are in a play there are many acts, many scenes are there, but here it is just a one-act play, a short play, but a comic play, which tells the main, it gives a deeper meaning. Which deeper theme is there, which of course I am going to tell you in the last, by the end of the lesson, by the end of the drama. Sorry. So Laura is a calm lady who loves to be in the company of birds and nature. Laura is a very calm lady. She loves to be with the birds and in the nature. On the other hand, Gonzalo is tended toward the birds. He even curses the priest for being occupied on his bench. He finds negative aspects in whatever he is surrounded by and goes on complaining. So, exactly opposite of Laura is Don Gonzalo. He is not happy with the birds. He doesn't want to enjoy the nature also. And now and then he is very fussy. He keeps on complaining about the things around him. Laura gives grievances only when she is irritated by others. She only complains only when she is irritated by others. Otherwise, she is a very happy-go-lucky lady. So, let's start with the play. Today we are going to just do till page number 40. In the next class, we will continue with the next part of the drama. So, if you see the first session, I have just now explained you. The scene takes place in a retired corner of a park. park at Madrid. And there are two benches. One bench is on the left side corner, one bench is on the right hand side corner. So right hand side corner, the you can say is the place where this particular play is you can say highlighted or takes place. Why? Because Laura, when she enters the park, they have mentioned here, she enters the park leaning on her on the hand of her maid. Of course, she is having her parasol in one hand, and other she is taking the help with the other hand. She is taking the help of Petra. So when they come in, the dialogue, the conversation between Petra and Donna Laura. Of course, I am not going to read each and every dialogue. On page 35, if you see, there is a conversation between Donna Laura and Petra. So Donna Laura and Petra, they are entering the park. She hopes that hope my seat is not occupied by others, which tells us that she is the daily visitor to that park. And she has also brought breadcrumbs. Now, why she has brought breadcrumbs? Whether she is going to eat the breadcrumbs? No. She has brought the breadcrumbs to feed to the birds over there. So, this also tells that she comes to the park every day. She brings breadcrumbs every day for the birds over there. And later on, as we go on reading, we come to know that she is well aware. She knows each and every bird coming there because she comments on each and every bird over there. So Petra, of course, she is there. She also she goes and you can say every day she comes over there and she goes and meets her guard, because the conversation between Donna Laura and Petra also makes us understand that Petra, whenever she comes to the park, with Donna Laura, she goes and meets the guard of the park because they both are friends. So here Donna Laura tells Petra that you can go and meet your guard, but see that you have to be within a calling distance and come back. Don't stay there, not more than 10 minutes. So you have to come back, and before she leaves, she reminds Petra that you have to give me the breadcrumbs. So Petra, she apologizes that she forgot to give the breadcrumbs. So by taking the breadcrumbs, Petra leaves the place, and here if you see the last dialogue here, adios. Adios means what actually? In the Spanish, adios means it's a goodbye, a way of saying goodbye in Spanish. So she says bye to Petra, and then she gets up from her place, walks towards the right where there is a tree, and below that tree there are birds over there, pigeons over there you can say, and she throws the breadcrumbs into three corners. She starts, now this is a monologue, she speaks to herself. She starts recognizing, or you can say pointing out, yes, these words are like that, those words are like that. So she has used certain words over there. She has used spraised to few of the birds over there. Spraised means active. Few of them are gluttons. Gluttons are nothing else but greedy. The birds which keeps on eating fast before swallowing. So here these are for the spraised, these for the gluttons, and these for little ones which are the most persistent. So the entire passage which she is talking about is about no one else but the birds. She even calls few of the birds like very timid birds. She wishes to feed them from her hand. And there is a one bird which takes its part and goes and sits on the tree. So that particular bird she calls as a philosopher. So which tells us that she comes to this place and she feeds the birds every day. So this is the scene going on. Page number 36, entry of Don Gonzalo and Jonathan. Of course, as I told you, Don Gonzalo suffers from gout. He cannot walk, so he takes support of Jonathan. He is dragging his feet, and when he drags his feet, he enters the park. He sees that his bench, left hand side bench, is not empty. It is occupied by three priests. And he starts cursing them, he starts saying them, why these people are over here, why don't they be in the church, why don't they say their mass, and why they are simply wasting their time over here. So of course he cannot stand for a long time. He asks Jonathan, you please better go and rout them out. Rout them out means chase them out. So Jonathan is helpless, he cannot ask those priests to go out, so they have to wait, and at last he decides, okay fine. He even suggests that this particular bench on the right hand side, only one old lady is sitting, you can share the bench with her. But Gonzalo is not ready, he wants his own bench where he can sit and where he can spend his time. So being helpless, he comes towards this particular bench where Donna Laura is sitting. The next page, you can see page 37, there is a small conversation between Donna Laura and Don Gonzalo, because when he is coming towards that particular place to sit, the birds are chased away. As he drags his feet, the birds, they get scared and they go away. That angers Donna Laura. She scolds him for scaring her birds, and he is not at all bothered. He says, I don't care about the birds. Again, he is inquiring to Jonathan whether those priests are still there, because he doesn't want to share that bench with anyone else. He wants to spend time quiet in one corner. So, being helpless, he sits over there. That is what is mentioned in page number 37. And again, he does, like, he gets angry because she scolds him. He gets angry. Again, he gets up. Again, is about to go towards his particular place called as the left corner of the left bench of the park. Here is again a second monologue between, which monologue in the sense Donna Laura speaks to herself about the character of Don Gonzalo, that he is an ill-natured old man. Why must people get so fussy? Fussy means what? Ill-tempered. For small things people get ill-tempered. Why must people get so? And cross when they reach a certain age. Now here actually, though both of them belong to almost the same age, she is commenting on a man who gets fussy because or due to age. Looking towards the right, I am glad. She is happy that he lost that bench. 2. Serves him right for scaring the birds. He is furious. Yes. Find a seat if you can. Poor man, he is wiping the perspiration from his face. Here he comes. A carriage would not raise more dust than his feet. Again, she is commenting on him that he is like a carriage. Of course, a carriage which raises more and more dust as it moves on. So, he is like a carriage who is raising the dust. Why? Because he drags his leg. So, when he drags his leg, the dust over there, the sand over there is not disturbed, and it starts, it raises the dust over there. Have the priest gone yet? He is again inquiring whether the priests are still there or they are not. I want my own bench. So, of course, Gianotto is helpless. He said, no, indeed, Senor. Senor, actually, as I told you, Senor is a way of addressing a man, and Senora is the way of addressing a lady. Because now and then, Don Gonzalo uses the word Senora for Donna Laura. So, here Gianotto says, Senor, they are still there. The authorities should place more benches here for these sunny mornings. Again, he is grumbling, again, he is complaining that why the authorities of the park have kept only few benches. They should keep more benches over there on such sunny morning. So, still, like, he mutters certain things and he comes and sits next to, as I told you in the picture, I have shown in the picture, next to the bench, next to Donna Laura. And when he sits down, he removes his handkerchief, because by dragging, his shoe is completely dusty. So, he uses his handkerchief to dust out the dust on his shoes. Seeing that, again Laura comes. Oh, you use your, you can see the beautiful dialogue is there over here. Brushing the dust from his shoes with his handkerchief. He comments, if the ground were sprinkled a little, would be an improvement. Again, he is complaining about that if the authorities over here, if they would have asked their people, the workers over here to sprinkle water on the ground, it would have not become more dirty. My shoe has got spoiled because of the dust over here, because they have not sprinkled with water. So, he is complaining about the authority, but here Donna Laura is having fun of that. He makes fun. Do you use your handkerchief as a shoe brush? Because he's using his handkerchief to dust out the dust on his shoes. So, she is asking whether you use your handkerchief as a shoe brush. Why not? Here he gets irritated. He said, why not? What is your problem? It's my handkerchief, it's my shoes. I will use it as the way I like. Why not? Do you use a shoe brush as a handkerchief? Here again she is making fun that, okay, fine. If you are using your handkerchief as a shoe brush, do you use your shoe brush as a handkerchief? By this he gets angry and he says, what right have you to criticize my actions? That time she comments that a neighbor's right. You know what's a neighbor's right? Neighbor's right means what? Of course, when we have neighbors, we have certain rights. So she says, as a neighbor's right, I am commenting on your actions. You are very polite. It's a sarcastic word used by Donna Lorna because there in foreign countries, no, there are etiquettes. A man should follow certain etiquettes when he approaches a lady. So when he says that, Jonathan, my book, I do not care to listen to nonsense. When she says a neighbor's right, he comments that I do not care to listen to nonsense. She says in a very sarcastic way that you are very polite, mister. Okay? Pardon me, Senora, but never interfere with what does not concern you. You should not interfere into the matters which does not concern you. I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. We both are strangers meeting for the first time. That too, out of I know. Even I don't want to sit with you. And we are as strangers. How? What right you have got to comment on my actions? So what she says, I generally say what I think. That is, it shows about her character. What I think, I say it out. I don't keep in my mind. I am not a hypocrite. And more to the same effect, give me the book, Janata. Of course, he doesn't, even in this case also, he says, okay, fine, I don't care about all these things. He tells his servant, Janata, to give the book. And more to the same effect, give me the book. He takes the book, and if you see, I just use the picture over here. These are the words. He takes the book from Geneto. He is having the book actually. He is having his own reading glass, specs actually. At the same time, he takes the reading glass also. You have a simple microscope. So seeing that, she again starts commenting. Okay, I thought you were taking out a telescope. Was that you? Again he's asking. Again you only are commenting on me. Are you like still poking your nose in between whatever I am doing? Your sight must be keen. Keener than yours is. Of course here now the conversation starts between their eyesight. No? How sharp is your eyesight? So she says, my eyesight is better than yours. He says, even today my eyesight is better. You can ask the hares and partridges. Now partridges, if you remember, is a small bird. Hares, of course, when you go, of course we in India, we don't go for hunting. But these people, foreign people, they had a sport of hunting, going to the forest and hunting. So he says that if you go and ask the hares and partridges, they will tell you how sharp my eyesight is. And even now I carry a gun and I spend my time, I kill my time going for hunting. So she comments, oh, you can do only that much. You don't kill animals, you don't kill hares and partridges, you just kill time. That time he comments that you come to my house, in my study room, I have a wild boar's head. I have not, if you see, in many of the movies, again I am giving example of movies, I don't know in how many the houses which are where or you can say in Kurg side where they go for hunting. The people they take pride in hanging the heads or the skin of the animals which they have killed. So he says that you come to my study room, I have a wild boar's head. So she says, okay, in my border, in my dressing room, you can just when I'm explaining this, you can just go through the meanings of the words. They are there in the textbook also. So she says that okay, fine, you come to my house, in my living room, in my bedroom, I have a tiger's skin. That doesn't mean that I went out for hunting, I killed a tiger and I got the skin and I've hanged it on the wall. That doesn't mean that. He said, okay, fine. Now, will you please allow me to read the book? Because he has come there to spend his time in the park, in the corner part of the park, just for reading. And this lady has come here to enjoy the nature, to spend time with her birds. So she says, okay, fine, you can continue with your reading or you can read your book. I don't have any problem. But first, I shall take a pinch of snuff. This you have seen snuff. Actually, I have seen the local old people over here. It's nothing else but it is made out of tobacco. Some people they get addicted to it. Some of them they use as to clear their nose. So even he says that okay, I want to read the book, but before that, let me take a pinch of snuff. And as it's an etiquette, it's a mannerism. Like, so he asked, will you like to have? So when he asked her, will you like to have, she says, only if it is good. Because in this also there are various qualities. Okay, so yes, he says it is the best one. And then she says, yes, if it's the best one, I would like to have. So both, if you see, a pinch of snuff brings a good start in their conversation, because till now, till then, they both were fighting, grumbling, commenting, arguing. Now this small pinch of snuff, of course you could have seen the old people, they inhale that snuff in one breath and they sneeze. And while sneezing, their nose is clear, their head is clear. Many times I even have seen people, those who get cough and cold, or those who get blocked nose. Now we have Otrivin, all these things we get nowadays. In olden days, Otrivin, Vicks and all such things were not there. People were using such products to clear off their head and their nose also. So she says, okay, I will have it. And then they are asking, do you sneeze? And when they converse that, yes, do you sneeze? Yes, I sneeze 3 times. Even he says, even I sneeze 3 times. And as soon as they inhale the snuff, alternatively, one time he is sneezing, then she is sneezing, alternatively they sneeze 3 times. And this particular pinch of snuff brings, you can say, friendship between them. Good conversation starts after the use of this pinch of snuff. In board exams they ask what brought, or also the questions are asked, what brought them together or what brought them friendship between them. It is nothing else but a pinch of snuff. So we'll stop till here. Of course, he starts reading the book, and there are mention about certain authors from Spain. This will continue in the next class. But till then, page number 40 is the last. In the next class, we'll continue and we'll see how interesting it is. It is very, very interesting. If you have time, if you have mood, just read the remaining pages also. But before that, read from page 34 to 40. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me during your doubt clarification. Thank you very much. Have a good day.